Hello, everyone. Welcome in. It is Saturday night, 8 p.m. We've done it every night for the last... Somebody actually reminded me that I've been in quarantine, not quarantine. Let me say that again. I've been in my apartment for 14 days, quarantined for about 7, but now just in my apartment because I'm following the rules and doing what we're asked to do, stay inside. So, welcome back in. I'm going to fire up the laptop here and we'll get started. Listen, I know there's a lot of people here who are from Puerto Rico or care about what is happening in Puerto Rico. So I want to let you know that a short time ago, I did an interview with a woman named Maria Cruz Correa, I believe, Dr. Maria Cruz Correa. She is an oncologist on the island, a gastroenterologist, and she's a part of the governor's task force for coronavirus response. And I posted that video on my YouTube channel, and I shared the link on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And I would encourage you all to go and watch it. It is incredibly valuable in terms of information. It is at points surprising and shocking. I'll give you just a little bit. Basically, the health department on the island has pretty much not effectively been doing any contact tracing. That meaning when someone is identified as a positive case, officials are supposed to find out who they've had contact with, where they were, to thereby isolate those people. That essentially hasn't been happening. On top of that, medical students from the university, and thank God there are some, are essentially going to take over that contact tracing process now. And I've been asking the government of Puerto Rico for 4 days now to give me a proof of purchase for 200,000 rapid tests. And thanks to Dr. Maria, she basically went to them today and said, where's the proof? I want to see the proof because I want to show David the proof. And she didn't show us the proof, but she told us what she saw. And I have to tell you, I have no reason not to believe this lady. She is an academic and she's a doctor. She's not a politician. And I do believe what she's saying, and I find it quite refreshing that the governor has put into place this task force of medical doctors who are advising and giving guidance. And I think we have to remember there's so much profound distrust on the island of Puerto Rico that when people you can trust come forward, sometimes folks immediately say, oh, she's bad, don't trust her, whatever. At some point, if you don't trust and you don't listen to anybody, there's nobody left. So until somebody shows me that they're lying, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to ask them to deliver on specifics every time they have them. So that's Puerto Rico. I would encourage you to go watch that interview. It is 43 minutes, and there is a ton of information. Also today, if you care about Louisiana, I interviewed the governor of Louisiana, John Bel Edwards, who said, and I want to read the tweet from him, what he told me. We have case growth that's on a trajectory right now that puts us in grave danger in about a week to 10 days for not having ventilator capacity that we will need to render care. Louisiana is in bad shape right now, and they are a hot spot in the country. Of course, there's stuff happening in New York, but today I was able to get to the governor of Louisiana and the doctor from Puerto Rico, and I still didn't get to exercise. But I'm actually planning to do that tonight when I'm done with this. So here we go. We'll bring in some friends. Welcome in, everybody. We will start with, and he wanted to talk to us about how what is going on is affecting them. Hello, Joel.
Hi, David. How are you?
I'm well. Tell everybody where you are in Puerto Rico.
Well, I'm from San Juan, actually old San Juan, and I'm a business owner. I have a restaurant and a clothing store.
Okay.
It's
so
Stuffed
you reached
Avocado.
out to me.
Stuffed Avocado
Please
Shop, which is a restaurant which we build like stuffed avocados, and Collective Requests, which is a women's clothing store, also with some men's styles. Both in Old San Juan, and the Stuffed Avocado Shop have some other stores also.
So you reached out to me and said, David, I really want to talk about what business owners are going through and how we're dealing with this new normal. What do you want us to know?
Well, the new normal for every business owner, I'm sure, is different because There's some different kind of businesses, and in our business, we're lucky that we're one of the exceptions in this order, and we're able to operate, making a lot of changes. So I would say that my new normal is reinventing myself, reinventing the business, especially the restaurant, because the clothing store, it's closed. We're only operating online, and we are selling online, and it's been good, and I'm really thankful for that. And but the restaurant, it's been a roller coaster. It's been very hard, and every day I see restaurants closing. Like at the beginning of this, it was like, okay, everybody's gonna do deliveries and takeouts, and it's gonna be fine. And day by day, you see 2 restaurants closing, 3 restaurants closing, 4 restaurants closing, because it's not that easy. It's very hard to only operate on deliveries and takeouts. And so we've been reinventing ourselves, and thank God it's been hard. We've been losing a lot of money, but we change our goals, from having these 3 locations in this restaurant to only being able to operate one of them, and have enough shifts to keep the employees, to make them get something out of this, and because they're not making any other money. So it's very hard for us to be losing money, but trying to do the best to don't lose enough, so we can stay open and the guys can keep working. And we just changed our goals. Instead of doing amazing all the time, to let's survive. And there's a lot of businesses right now trying to survive, and some of them that simply and sadly are not going to survive, because this is gonna go for longer.
When you talk about reinventing yourself, is there a best practice that you can share with another business owner as to something they can try and do to survive? I mean, you've had to lower your bar, right? So you want to perform at this
Yeah.
level, but you have to realize that you're going to perform at this level. Any best practices you can share?
Well, what we did, we were working on an app to start doing our own deliveries before this happened. And all of a sudden this happens, and we have to do deliveries. And I think it's hard to do deliveries, and everybody's like maybe trying it themselves, maybe bringing the food to the people themselves, but it's been hard. So we started changing roles within the company to give more opportunity to the employees. We have 3 employees that have never done deliveries in their life. They're delivery guys now. We had to change logistics. We had to try to lower the third party costs. For example, the delivery companies, for example, Uber Eats, they charge 30% for every order, even now. So if you get 30% out for them, and you're only selling that way, because you're not making enough pickups orders, like people are staying at their houses, so you need deliveries. So if you're paying them 30%, and then you pay 30, or not even 30% on employees, the usual for us is almost that, but we're paying a lot more on employees because we don't have the volume, and we want to give jobs to the employees. So we're almost at 40 something, and then you take out the 30% of the food, you're already losing money. And imagine when you have to pay rent, when you have to pay the
So is
power. And
so so is staying open for you a moneymaker, or is it a public service?
I think at the beginning it was totally a public service, and now what I was trying to say is that we, as doing our deliveries ourselves and managing to finally do it well, we're lowering those third party costs from Uber Eats and other companies, because we're doing more on our own deliveries than we're doing on those companies. Finally, at the beginning, it wasn't like that. Like, we were depending on them, and now by day, we've been doing better than them on the platforms. We
So
have
many
our own
business
website, but and people can order at our website, and it makes it a little easier.
This may be a
Uh,
new normal for you, Joel, that turns into a permanent normal. You know, even my business is changing, and probably in some ways will never go back to what it used to be before this, because it's not a temporary thing. It's becoming a permanent thing. And once it becomes a permanent, and you realize maybe you don't have to pay those third partiers, or you're going to save more money, that may never go back.
yeah,
Just the
maybe
final.
right now we're almost breaking even,
Right.
but I see something that might work in the future that it's not going to be breaking even. It's going to be very good for us, and we want to go back to our real normal because this is like you said, public service slash uh, new normal. We're trying to reinvent ourselves to see whenever that future is, because we don't know when it's going to happen. We hope it's, I don't know, in May. I don't know, maybe not. But we're just trying to break even and bringing up these new ideas to see how long we last like this.
I just want to
You know?
remind everyone, for business owners in Puerto Rico, there was Maria of 2018. There were the earthquakes of January, and then there's this.
Rosselló.
It's well, and the Rosselló, yeah, and
Yeah,
that's
especially we're in Old San Juan, one of our stores.
right.
So
Somebody asked for the address. What's your address? I guess
so
website.
in Old San Juan is 209 San
No, the
Francisco.
website. The website.
Oh, the website, stuffedavocadoshop.com. Yeah,
Great.
right now forget about the address.
Great.
Just give us your address.
Exactly. Joel, thank you. I'm glad we could get on a business owner, and I use the word resilient all the time. You guys are so damn resilient. So I tip my hat to you, brother.
Thank you.
Night. You're welcome.
Thank you, David. Bye.
Thanks for coming on. It's good to hear from a business owner. Okay, so moving right along. Hello. Where are my hashtag people? What's our hashtag? Go ahead with the hashtag early on. What's our hashtag? Watch what people write.
Hey,
hello.
David. Hi.
Hi, what is your name?
My name is Veronica. Sorry about my messy hair. I was just working out.
Oh, no problem. That's what I wish I was doing. I will be doing later on.
It's a way to survive right now for me.
Amen. Amen.
Yes, I've been, I want to share a little bit about my story.
Okay.
I am a registered nurse.
Okay.
I work for the federal government. Unfortunately, during this process, I had to leave my family behind. I am from Puerto Rico, but we moved to Colorado 5 years ago. And we were in the process of moving to Texas. So this hit basically the day I was moving to Texas. My family stayed behind for a couple of weeks so that I could come to work. And then after that, they would come and join me when we sold the house in Colorado.
Okay.
As you know, selling a house is not possible right now. And my daughter was supposed to come first, but I decided to leave her behind with my husband so that she wasn't exposed, and schools are closing. And because of my job as a registered nurse, I'm not loving exposing her. So I decided to come and stay here on my own until further notice. It was her birthday Thursday. Wow. So I didn't spend my daughter's 5th birthday. She's only 5 years old.
Wow.
My husband is an Uber and Lyft driver. So his income has been cut short.
Sure.
He's taking care of our daughter. We don't have any family or anyone that can actually stay with her in Colorado. So he's been delivering food for drive-through food with Uber Eats and DoorDash with our daughter without leaving the car. So he gets the food drive-through and delivers to the person's house. He won't leave my daughter in the car if he's picking up food. So he tries to avoid anything that's not drive-through. So he's been working, but of course the amount of what he needs, it's hard to make it to that. He has 2 more children that he supports in Puerto Rico, so he still needs to pay child support. So we've had to actually reinvent the wheel. I own this small business for activewear, so I've been doing this and then at the same time working full-time at the hospital. It's scary. It's nerve-wracking not knowing when I will see my daughter again. But I rest in peace. Like, I rest assured that she's going to be safer right now, far away from me. Because I'm at the hospital, I'm exposed to an environment that I could, and I do what I have to do. I wash my hands constantly. I am always, as soon as I come in, I disinfect the car, and then coming inside, I take my shoes off, my scrubs, everything that I wear at the hospital, I take it outside straight to the washing machine, shower as soon as I get home. It's just the part of not knowing anything, not knowing what a good decision is at this moment is hard. I thought about bringing her. We have a small school in the hospital setting, like one of the buildings is a small school, but I don't know if it's going to close. So if it does close, who's going to watch my kid while I'm at work? And then my husband can't just come here because I'm staying with a friend. So we have pets. We have 2 dogs and a bunny. I'm not going to bring 2 dogs, a bunny, a daughter, a 5-year-old, a husband, everyone to stay with a friend, until we can rent a place here, because I can't afford 2 mortgages.
What kind of nurse are you?
I am right now patient safety specialist.
Meaning?
So I work. That means basically I monitor anything that happens to patients within the hospital. So exposure to viruses or falls or developing ulcers, anything related to patient safety issues. I am the responsible person to investigate that. So right now I go to the floors or to the different patient care settings to investigate issues. So one of them, of course, will work along with infection control. So yes.
Oh my word, I'm just going to take a deep breath on your behalf.
Yes.
Oh my. Well,
It's scary.
Thank you for sharing. It occurs to me, you're sacrificing yourself professionally, you're sacrificing yourself personally. And your husband is, but at the end of the day, I also want to give you credit, because I think rather than just wallowing in despair, I love people who grab the bull by the horns. My favorite type of people are people who say, okay, this is bad, so here's what we're going to do. And so you're at the friends, your husband's driving. She doesn't get out the car. He only goes through drive-through. Like, you're doing what you got to do.
Yes.
And I don't have my hat on, but I tip my hat to you.
We have to be optimistic in this moment. Like, being negative right now won't solve anything.
Amen.
It's just literally going to give us more stress. So
Amen.
I encourage everyone to stay positive. It's not an easy moment for anyone. So be respectful towards everyone that is out there doing what they have to do. Those that are outside of their homes without the need to be out there, those I would need to say, please stay home. Please do what you have to do to avoid the continuing of the spreading of this, because there's no way to stop it if you don't do what you have to do, which is stay home. Those that don't have that option, because we have to provide care for those that are sick, we wish we could do something else, but this is our moment of caring for them. So our promise when we became nurses.
We hear you loud and clear. Thank you for weighing in.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow. I always say that everybody has a story that if they were to tell you, it would break your heart. Everybody has a story. Not everybody shares it, but everybody has it.
Hi, David.
Well, hello. What is your name?
My name is Yvonne.
Hi, Yvonne. Where are you in the world?
Well, I was from Bronx up to a year and a half ago. I'm in Cape Coral, Florida.
Okay.
My husband retired, and I worked for New York Presbyterian Hospital, and so did my daughter. I still work remotely for New York Presbyterian Hospital. I spoke to one of the doctors yesterday, and everything is good here. My normal is just I've been home. I work from home, so that's a blessing itself.
That is.
But I am in the medical field. I work for gastroenterology. I'm not a nurse, but I do a lot of surgical work from the house, and it's been a good year, to now. Everything here is okay. It's good. It's my husband and my daughter and my little dog, Sadie. And it's been a blessing because with everything going around, I mean, I hear from the other side over there in New York. I was there all my life. And I'm glad I'm here. It's
Well,
just,
we hear you from Cape Coral, Florida. It looks like you're doing okay for now.
yes, I am. And thank you for everything that you do. You're awesome.
Thank you,
I
love.
mean, everybody, I mean, every time I see you, I get a glow because, you know, you're great. Not only with our people in Puerto Rico, but, you know, even here, I can't wait to, I've been trying to get on and I finally got you today. I just needed to tell you, you know, God bless you and keep doing what you're doing. And you're awesome.
Thank you. And thank you for a little report from Cape Coral. God bless
everybody,
you.
everything is good here. We're good.
It's good. When things are good, it's good to say that they're good.
That's right.
Not everything's bad. So when it's good, tell us. So thank you.
Of course. Thank you. Good night.
Good night, Yvonne.
Bye.
I love that y'all came up with, like, y'all knew exactly what I meant when I said, what's the hashtag? There's a bit of a delay, so every time I say something, it usually takes you guys, I don't know, 20 seconds or so, but I saw hashtag don't push the button, hashtag don't push the button. And I see Paddington's on here. Hello?
Hey, what's up, Dave?
Hello, how are you?
I'm good.
We are having a hard time seeing you.
Hold on, I'm gonna turn on the light.
Okay. Oh, didn't I talk to you?
I'm the UPS driver.
Aren't you the Yes. Okay.
Listen, but this is not wait, this is not about me right now. It's about what my wife and her company has done for my brothers, and I want you to speak to her. Hold on.
Okay. Well, wait a minute. Wait. Can I just tell you? Hi.
Hi.
There we are.
Hi. So let me just update everybody. Let me back up a bit. So we talked to this gentleman. Remind me your name, sir.
My name's Juan.
So Juan, we talked to a couple of nights ago. He is the shop steward for his group at the UPS. He works in the Northeast. He told us that they weren't getting the supplies that they needed. I reached out to UPS the next day. I spoke with a very nice gentleman who essentially put some things into context to me and said, David, I think we have 177,000 drivers is what he gave me. And the bottom line is they simply are not in a position to be able to give every one of them a mask. And I'll tell you without releasing the man's name, one thing that I said to him. They sent me this really just regular statement that a company would send, which felt very impersonal. And I called him and I said, let me ask you something. I said, you basically sent me something saying that they're all taken care of. And he said, mm-hmm. And I said, but that's not the case. Excuse me. Hello. Please, thank you.
Look at the Puerto Rican flag in the back.
So I said, that's not the case. And he said, well, what do you mean? And I said, you and I both know that the background you sent me, and background means reporters can use it, but these people don't want to be quoted with their name. And I said, I'm not going to quote you with your name. But I said, you basically told me that you have 177,000 drivers and you're not in a position to get them all masks right now. So you're prioritizing those who are going to elderly care facilities. I said, why not just come out and say that? It's a very human thing to say, that you'd like to do it. Paddington, we hear you. That you'd like to do it, but you're just not, like, you can't get it done this moment. I said, people will appreciate that more than they're going to appreciate a statement from UPS which says, we're good, our employees are all taken care of, blah, 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 blah. And I could tell what he gave me was a big copy and paste thing. And then he sent me a paragraph that he wrote like a human being.
I saw that and I posted it.
Correct. So anyway, I just want to update everybody who's watching so you know where we're coming from. Now, ma'am, what do you have for us?
I will tell you this, that I spoke to a couple of people that I know that work for UPS.
Okay.
And they did tell me that when they went to work on Friday, they had little sanitizers available. They had little bottles of bleach available. And it just seemed that there was a little bit more attention to the drivers that there was not before our conversation, which is great.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I told them where you were out of. I was very specific about that because here's the thing. When I reach out to people, I want to be as specific as I can. So I told him where you were located. I told him you were a shop steward. And I also made the point to tell him, and I've learned this in life, when you tell people that the person voicing a concern is not trying to condemn you or attack you, it has a way of making people drop their shoulders. So rather than this, they go, okay. And I felt like that's what was happening. Like the man was like, okay, well then let me tell you our situation. And I went, I get it. And I bet you he's going to get it. So let's give the human response. And it makes me happy to hear. It makes me happy to hear. And you know what? I wanted him to know we weren't trying to put them on blast.
Absolutely.
But CBS News did want to know what they were doing. That's all.
That's good. You know what? And I do believe, you know, obviously you have a great platform out there. And if something is going to get done, I think you have the voice for it. So it was good. It was good. I do believe that they've made a tiny little step in the right direction.
Listen, I'll take a tiny step every single day.
Absolutely.
So I thank you both. I'm so glad we brought you back on for an update.
Hey, David.
Yeah.
Did you notice the Puerto Rican flag in the back?
I see it, brother.
Listen, I'm from Peru, but I got a strong Puerto Rican wife, and God bless her for that.
You are lucky that you snagged a Puerto Rican.
I just want them to be safe. That's all.
Amen. 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 I thank you both. It's good to see you.
Stay safe, Dave.
Yes, ma'am. Good night.
Bye.
Okay, so that's my food at the door, so let me go get it. Coming. Thank you. Thank you very much. Why were you coughing? Okay, moving right along. That was such a good update to get from them. Why are you whining? You went to the dog park today and you went all over the place. You've been out like all day. You've been out all day. All right, next. Bring it on. Hello? Somebody else knocking at my door. Hi.
Hi.
Hello, hold on just 1 second.
Is this real?
Hello.
Hi.
What? No, that's not me. Mine's already here. I don't know what does that mean? Okay. So what is your name?
Hi, David. My name is Libni Santana.
Nice to meet you. Where are you in the world?
Well, I'm in Mayagüez right now, in the west side of the island.
Yeah.
Now it's called the Wild Wild West, Mayagüez.
Let's let everybody know that on the western side of the island today in Mayagüez, the Puerto Rico National Guard was setting up a field hospital, which will be used to... most of the field hospitals, I should let you know, are being used not for COVID patients, but they're being used to actually take patients out of the hospital who can be moved into a field hospital in the parking lot so that COVID patients can be brought inside. Anyway, there will be a couple of field hospitals on the island of Puerto Rico, one of which is going up at the Mayagüez Medical Center. What is your new normal, ma'am?
Well, my new normal is now I've been at home since the 8th of March. And with my dog, and well, I haven't go out for groceries or nothing like that because we are scared, and I don't think that the government is giving the right numbers of contagious people. I don't know. I guess they're not giving the numbers.
Okay,
my opinion.
So there's a lack of trust that you have. I understand that. Who's bringing you groceries?
Well, I haven't got any grocery yet because the last day I went out was the 8th of March, but I'm planning to go maybe next week.
Okay, all right. Okay, well, and you know the new rules, right? That starting on the 31st of March, that you can only go out depending on the last letter of your license plate. You know that?
Yes, I know that. As a matter of fact, I think that they put this, how you could say it, this 7, at 7. I think it's very early, to get home. Yesterday, my daughter went to fast food, and they're supposed to close at 8 o'clock. And she was there around 7:30, more or less 7:20, and I didn't give her on the fast food. They didn't attend her with my granddaughter.
Mm.
So it's getting hard, very hard to we've been through much things lately.
Y'all have been through so many things lately. Y'all
Oh
have
my
been
God.
through so many things.
I'm 63 years old, and I'm a baby boomer, so this is all new for me.
Well, God love you. Thank you for weighing in, and you are surviving.
You know what? I really want to say muchas gracias. Que Dios te bendiga, because you have done so much for our Islita, and I'm so proud of you. I don't know you. I was raised in the Bronx, South Bronx, when I was a kid, but I really love what you do for our country. God bless you.
Thank you. I receive all of that kindness from you. Thank you. Thank you.
Namaste, David. Be safe.
Namaste. Good night.
Love.
I smiled when she said Dios te bendiga, because I do not speak Spanish, but I do know what that means, because some people sent me a shirt that said that, and I've worn the shirt on here, actually. You guys have probably seen it. So.
Hello. Hi.
Oh, we spoke before.
Yes, yesterday.
Okay. Do you have an update?
Yes, my kids said they wanted to talk to you and share with you their experience.
Okay, we're listening.
This is Anais. Oh, this is Noah. Hi. He's 3. Well, he'll be 3. His birthday is actually on Friday.
Hi.
We had planned a birthday for him at Chuck E. Cheese and all of that, but that's not going to happen anymore. So we're going to try to make the best of that this week. This is Anais.
Hi.
She's in kindergarten. She's 5.
5, okay.
We're doing a puzzle together right now. Anais has been having a little bit of a hard time. She tells we're doing homeschool.
Yep.
And so the other night she started crying and said, "Mom, I don't like this school because I don't have friends to play with at recess time." She misses her friends a lot, right? She misses her teacher. She misses her daily routine. And so she's been having a hard time. So I told her that I would let her share, but she got a little shy. She didn't want to talk, so I'm talking for her.
Well, I'm listening, and so you can feel comfortable. What do you want? What do you want us to know about the new school?
What do you want? He said, "What do you want them to know about how you feel being at home?" You don't know? No? Do you miss your friends? You miss going to school every day? Yeah. You miss your teacher.
Yeah, look, you bring up a good point, and I think it's an opportunity for us to say to everyone watching that the best way the experts have said to me to talk to your kids about this is when they are ready to greet you about the conversation.
Yeah.
In other words, if they don't ask, then you don't need to bring it up.
Right.
But if they do, it's a great opportunity to say, well, let's talk about how you're feeling.
Yep.
And sort of validate those feelings.
Yeah, for sure, because everything has changed for them completely. They're not going to school. They're not seeing their friends every day. Out of a sudden, out of nowhere, now they're doing school on the computer. You know, everything completely has changed. And as adults, we have the time and we have the understanding of what is going on, but they're completely clueless, right? So Liam, come here real quick, Liam. Come here real fast. Real fast, hurry up. You said you wanted to say hi. Liam, the other day we had a talk and we were at the breakfast table and I just said, any question, anything that you're thinking about. Because there's been times where I've had to like turn off the TV when the news is on and they're in the room because especially Liam, he's 8 and he's a little bit more aware, right? And he's alert and he's listening in and I'll notice his whole mood, his whole countenance will change when he hears death or he hears, you know, things that are going on, he gets concerned. And so we had a moment at the breakfast table where we sat and I said, just tell me all your questions. What do you want to know? And one of his questions was, is she gonna die? Because he keeps hearing that that it's affecting older people more than, you know. And so I don't think we talk about it enough. I don't think we talk about what the children are going through enough and how to help the children process everything that's going on. So that's why. Well, you're
doing a good job, and I'm sure glad you came back on tonight because this allows us to bring up this topic. Yeah. They clearly are happy, but they clearly have concerns, and so hi, that's Liam, right?
This is Noah. Liam, come here. Isn't he just put a shirt on and he didn't want? But it's okay, Liam, come here.
How many kids do you have in that house?
There's 3. Come here,
hi, Liam.
He got embarrassed.
I don't blame him. No, listen. Thank you for helping us bring up that topic. And again, the guidance from the professionals is if the children ask you, have a conversation, but you don't need to keep bringing it up.
Right.
Talk about it, and if they don't bring it up, then that's it.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, love. Good to see you.
Say hi. Okay, bye. See ya.
Bye, sweetie. That was a really good opportunity to talk about what to talk about with kids when they bring it up, because it's inevitable. I mean, listen, we're going to be home for a while, so I don't think Paddington's going to be bringing it up anytime soon because he still gets to go on his walks because the dog park doesn't open.
Hi.
Well, hello. What is your name?
Oh my goodness. I think this is actually a dream. Can you please get my parents? Hi, my name is Maricel. I'm from San Juan, Puerto Rico.
From where, Puerto Rico?
From San Juan, Puerto Rico.
San Juan.
Okay, so my parents are having a miniature party right now. That's him.
Hey! Thanks so
Hello.
much.
Thank you for everything. Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
That's actually David Begnaud. Yeah, we're all in shock.
Oh my God, you're famous.
So Marisol, so tell me about your family's new normal.
Well, we've been here. We're 6 in the house, so this is our new normal. Like being in the terrace and like just listening to music and just catching up on
learning to cook.
Oh yeah, he actually learned how to cook.
But
now your mom will have some help.
Fun, you know, for all the circumstances. We're learning to have fun more in our own house. Something that most of Puerto Ricans were lacking. You know, like we think if we go out, we're gonna have fun, but at home you can have fun too. Yeah. And also, we've been praying too for all the people that need our prayer, and we've been trying to promote to all our friends and all our people to stay at home.
We're not keeping distance, Mama.
We are.
So we're 6.
I guess if you're in the house together, you're quarantined, so it's pretty good.
Yes,
who are the gentlemen? Are those?
Oh, so
right.
that's
are those your brothers?
No, that's my boyfriend.
Oh, your boyfriend.
Yeah.
Hi there.
He's staying here.
He's staying here. Yeah. Okay. So and then my little sister's over here. But basically, our new normal is just Diana.
Baby,
Hi.
Hi. Hi. Aren't you cute?
Diana, talk to him about your new normal. What's it like taking online classes?
It's kind of weird because we're not used to it, and I always have to wake up at 8, and I don't wake up at 8. I kind of like hit the button of snooze, and it's kind of like
Oh, they're setting up some stuff here. Wow. See,
wow.
Wow. Yes. But yeah.
What grade are you in?
Yeah.
5th grade.
5th grade. Okay. So how long of the day do you spend during doing schoolwork? How many hours?
From 8 to I think it's 12. From 8 to 12.
Okay.
But then homework.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you prefer? What do you prefer? Schoolwork at home or schoolwork at school?
Schoolwork at school because we can like do questions, and like we have to like wait a lot of time because every like when I send a message to the teacher, she like responds like like an 30 minutes later.
Yeah, if your teacher's watching this. She's actually learning 3 languages right now at school. So she's learning Spanish, English, and French.
Oh my gosh.
Just say hi. Or yeah, I put you in the spot. I'm sorry.
Bonjour.
Oh, say hi. My name is Diana. Oh, she actually knows sign language, some little bit of sign language. So
Just a little.
Yeah,
And you know a little bit of French.
I mean, but you're better. Yeah, she's only 10 years old, but she's like the light of like our lives. Like we were 4, and like now with her, she's been like the best. So
that's so sweet.
Yeah,
that is so sweet.
Actually, my mom, me, and my sister are wearing the same thing.
It's only for today, but yes, we decided.
I love it.
But yeah,
that's what we usually do for Christmas.
Oh
Everybody
yeah, we do that for Christmas. Actually,
yeah,
we do. We all get in onesies and we sleep in the same room.
Yeah, that's a Christmas.
I love it. So, what's the family last name?
Aleman.
The Aliman family. Well, I'm sure glad we got to hear from you guys. Y'all are a wonderful bunch.
Thank you so much, Diana.
But we call ourselves the Alibabi.
Oh, this one.
10 years old.
10 years old, and she's 10 going on 21, so it's definitely.
And cute.
Thank you so much for.
Marisol, thanks for introducing us to your family. My best to y'all.
Thank you so much, David. Take care.
Good night, love. Oh, isn't that sweet? That makes me miss my family, because that's what we'd be doing. We'd be having fun. We'd be giving each other hell, and there would be food involved. So there you go. All right, moving on.
Oh, hi, it's me. Sorry, let me turn on the light. Sorry, David. Sorry. Hi, how are you?
I am well. How are you?
I am doing okay, basically. I am from San Juan, Puerto Rico. You know my daughter, she's Yvonnes. She's a nurse at the VA hospital in Orlando. My ex-husband, he's a doctor here in Puerto Rico, also my son. And I came to Puerto Rico to take care of my parents. I am the only child. So I came here to Puerto Rico to take care of my parents during Maria. And I say because my mom, she has Alzheimer's. Then she had a stroke. She passed away 1 year and 5 months ago. And during that period, my father, he was diagnosed also with Alzheimer's. So I decided to stay here and take care of him. And this is really scary, the whole situation in Puerto Rico and basically around the world. Because I don't know, it's not easy because you don't know what's going to happen. Like I told you, my husband, he's a doctor here in Puerto Rico, also my son. My daughter, she's a nurse at the VA in Orlando. My oldest one, she lives in Orlando, but she works from home. But I am here taking care of my father. I have to go to the supermarket. And it's really scary because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know who's going to get it. Oh, my oldest daughter, best friend, he's from New York. He came out positive. He worked at a hospital. And this is so scary. And I don't know. Sometimes I cry so much because I take care of my kids. I think about my ex-husband. I think about everybody in the world who's getting this coronavirus, and it's not easy. And I am really, my father, he's 89. I am 63. I am taking care of him. As I told you, he has Alzheimer's, and this is not easy. It's not easy for anyone. But anyway, I am here in Puerto Rico.
I hear you. I just wanted to listen.
Sorry.
We all need someone to listen to, and I want you to know that we're all listening.
Thank you. Sometimes I talk too much and too fast.
No, listen. It's understandable. I talk too fast, but you're not alone. You're not alone. There's a lot of people, caregivers like yourself, and you've gone through so much. Both your parents dealing with your mother had been, did, and your dad. I can't imagine. I I give you a virtual hug. A virtual hug. That's what I give
Thank
you.
you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And also give for me a big hug to Paddington. And because he's adorable, he's so cute. And thank you so much for everything that you're doing. Thank you for listening to my youngest daughter, Joandri. She talked to you quite a few times, and she sends you some things from the VA. And trust me, David, thank you. We adore you. Thank you so much. Gracias, de verdad, de corazón.
I thank you. Your daughter is watching, and she just said, "I admire you," and she was talking about you. She was talking about you. She said, "I admire you."
I love my kids.
That's a beautiful thing. Remember that. Thank you for allowing us to hear your story. We hear you loud and clear.
Thank you so much, David. Have a good night.
Good night. Good night.
Bye.
To Hazard, Kentucky now. Why are you making noise? You've been out all day. You've been out all day. You ate. Well, maybe we're not going to Hazard, Kentucky. Hazard, Kentucky ain't ready. Hello.
Hi, good night.
What is your name?
My name is Natalie Rodriguez.
Okay, Miss Rodriguez, where are you in the world? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Where are you in the world?
Right now, I'm at the epicenter of the earthquake in the south of Puerto Rico in Guanica.
Aha, in Guanica. Y'all have.
So we're having two difficult things.
Yeah. What is your new normal like?
Something new that I found about myself, it's reflection in everything. God has a plan for everything. Everything has a purpose, has a reason. I'm a high school teacher. Before the COVID lockdown, we were working as in the tents in a baseball field, teaching. Yet we were teaching, we were working. So now, difficult. Anyhow, I just want to say thank you. I've listened to you every night. I listen to the testimonies of people, and I say thank God. Even though we have earthquake every single day, it's kind of difficult. All the testimony that I listen every single night, and your spirit and your emotional support to others, even though you're in the same thing. So I'm just thanking God, and I'm proud of you.
Well, that makes me a little emotional because you're going through a rough time. You're going through a rougher time than I, and I am always touched by the ability of someone like you to give grace and kindness and to compliment.
Thank you. We should. We could be in a worse position like you. I have family in the United States, but I decided to stay in Puerto Rico. So when I look and I compare, even though we have raised today, we got into 100. Kind of scary because Puerto Rico is small compared to you guys. But we're like, I'm even blessed. We have earthquake. That's why people don't want to come to Guanica. They don't want to come to the south of Puerto Rico because of the earthquake. So we're blessed.
I don't want to laugh, but I understand what you're saying. It makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
People are staying away.
So that's right. I'm sorry.
No, I hear you. I hear you. It makes sense. How are you? My last question is, how are you mentally?
Excuse me?
How are you mentally?
Mentally, I will say I'm more emotional than mentally distressed. I could see things, we all can see things in a different way. But I always prefer the positive one. Because I could be thinking so many worst and bad things happening at the same time. Yet, I prefer that there is some hope. Even when I'm saying people like you, they will say like, I mean, we're going through some difficult stuff and you're thinking that you're blessed. Yes, we are. So I don't know if I'm making sense.
You're making total sense. And let me tell you the beauty of having you on. It's not my place to be here and tell everybody that you're not in as bad a place as the next person. That's not my place. But you know what is my place? Is to give everybody a platform to come here and tell their story. Because when you listen to somebody else's story, you sit back and you go, I'm okay.
We're blessed.
I'm okay. I'm okay. Because somebody's got it worse than you do. And somebody's got it worse than I do, Lord knows. But we all benefit from you sharing. So I thank you from Guanica. And I can't wait to
I thank you for accepting me.
I want to go back and be a tourist there sometime. And I will, mark my words.
You're more than welcome. You're more than welcome to share our experience of shaking.
Mark my words. I will be back. I wish you a very good night and thank you for coming on.
You too. You're a blessing. Thank you very much for what you have done to Puerto Rico. Thank you for standing up for us.
Wasn't that amazing? Huh. Wasn't that amazing? Right? She's sitting in the middle of an earthquake zone that's been rattling since January. She's dealing with this, yet she's going to speak with gratitude. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
What is your name?
My name is Millie, and I am currently in Colorado, but I am from Ponce, Puerto Rico.
Ponce, well, I am well. Thank you for asking. Tell us about your new normal. I heard it's somebody's birthday.
It was supposed to be my wedding next week. So.
Oh, you're the wedding lady. I'm going through the comments. Okay, so tell us your story.
So we were planning our wedding, my fiance and I. We were going to go to Kentucky for the Bourbon Trail and a concert for my favorite band. And then the band canceled, so that was a bummer. And we were like, we're still going to go. It's fine. And then all the breweries started to cancel. And I was like, it's fine. We'll stay in Colorado. We'll be fine. And then the government closed all of the offices, so we can't get even our license. So that's when it hit me, and I got very emotional. And when my fiance got home, she was like, what's going on? And I'm bawling, crying. I don't even know what to do with my life. And then 2 days later, I was like, you know what? Let's forget about this. We're going to celebrate our wedding the same day that we were supposed to. We're going to make our cake. We're going to make our dinner, and we're going to dance, and we're going to celebrate it.
I love it. So has it already happened?
No, it's next Saturday.
Okay, great. And where is this all taking place?
Yeah, I went out before we went in, sheltered in place to the stores, and I got everything that I need. I have all of the ingredients to bake my cake, to decorate it, to make our dinner. We are gonna have fun.
And it'll just be the two of you.
It'll be just the two of us, so it'll be even more intimate and better.
Here, check it out. And I'm sure one day you'll have a wedding in Ponce and you'll do that all day. This will be more memorable than anything else. Mark my words.
Yep. And every time we talk about it, we create our own hashtag, and it's take that Corona.
Take that Corona. You ought to sip a Corona. You ought to cheers to a Corona.
Oh yeah.
I tell you what a great new normal story, and just sort of making life work despite life, you know?
Yeah. We got to make the best out of it. I mean, she's still working. She works at a liquor store. So she has to go out every day, and it's kind of scary that she has to go out. So we got to celebrate, you know, the good things about life, and we're just going to do it next Saturday. We're going to celebrate and dance, and it's going to be a party in this house.
I abso-freaking-lutely love it. Would you send me some pictures so I can share that?
Absolutely.
Next Saturday, after you do it, send me some pictures and I want to share it because that's an infectious spirit. You know, why the hell not? Do it today and then do the Ponce thing down the road.
Exactly.
I love it. I love it. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And thanks for everything you do. You're fantastic.
Thank you, love. Good night. Okay, everybody. So the Instagram police are coming for us. They're on our heels. We're 4 minutes till the top of the hour. So what I'll do is I'll stop now. I will eat and I'll be back up at 9:15. Deal? I'll see you then. Welcome back. How's this? Audio? Can you guys hear me? Do we have audio? Great. Now we have audio. Thank you. So it's 9:20. We'll give folks a moment to jump on and then we'll get started.
How you doing tonight, son?
I'm sorry?
I said, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm from Hazard, Kentucky, son.
You're from Hazard, Kentucky?
Yeah. Everything's good. You're in Kentucky. The governor's doing a great job.
Is he?
Yes, he is, son.
Are you guys under a lockdown?
No, we're not under a lockdown. They've got a lot of everything shut down right now, but it's doing pretty good. But he's doing a great job. As far as I know, where I live in Perry County, there ain't no cases of it yet.
Okay.
So that's great. But my
That
question,
is very good.
well, my question to you was, when they send these stimulus checks out, do you think this stuff will get worse?
What do you mean by will it get worse?
Well, do you think people will take their kids to Walmart like Christmas and stuff and spread it more?
Oh, so will people take their checks and then go out to spend it?
Yes.
I don't know. So that's a good question. You know, I don't know. I hadn't even thought about that. So it probably won't be the first, the only check that people get.
Right.
It will probably there will probably be another round. But I hope that it doesn't lead to overcrowding in places to where we don't have that necessary social distance. Some people may use direct deposit, you know, and
Right.
purchase online. So I don't know. That's a valid, fair question that I hadn't thought about.
Well, what I have seen, I haven't been to Walmart. It's probably been a couple of weeks since I was to Walmart.
Yeah.
But they tell me that the kids still keep going. You know, they turn the schools out, but the kids still keep going to Walmart.
Right.
For me personally, I think the kids should stay home and let the parents go. You know, that would save a lot of it. You know, I'm just surprised that Perry County has not got any yet, you know, really.
Well, just remember what the experts say. Just because your county doesn't have any doesn't mean that it's not there. It just may mean that you don't have a lot of testing there. If you had testing there, you might find those cases.
They've got a lot of testing here. They've got drive-through places here in Hazard. They sure do.
In Hazard, Kentucky, y'all have drive-through testing?
Yes. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Over at Hazard ARH Hospital and at Primary Care over here, they've got drive-throughs. They sure have.
Well, that's fantastic. You have some bigger cities in the nation that don't have drive-through testing. So that's great. What is your name?
Kenny Gray.
Well, Kenny, I'm glad we could get you on tonight. I thank you for giving us a little slice of life from Hazard, Kentucky.
Well, it's been good talking to you, buddy.
You too, Kenny. Have a good night.
Same to you, buddy. Good night.
That's a very fair question. When all these checks go out, are people gonna all go out and spend it? Hadn't even thought about that.
Hey, how's it going? I'm here from Harrisonburg, Virginia.
Harrisonburg?
Yes.
Harrisonburg, Virginia. What is your name?
My name is Angel Garcia. I'm Puerto Rican, and I'm a professor of geology here.
Oh, okay. Nice to meet you, sir. What is your new normal?
Teaching from home. We've been changing the classes from I was in the Bahamas teaching a course, so in the middle of that, we received the emails that we need to change everything online. And now I'm trying to make field students normal. I'm on this situation is really important for us. It's really important for me. And as well, trying to keep meetings and keep research running, which is hard because we don't have we're encouraged to not visit back our offices and the universities, so everything is remote.
How do you do tests?
So I'm using a couple of platforms that students been using before, like Canvas and Blackboard. We use Canvas. Basically, it's kind of like a little bit of kind of like self-grading tests, a little bit of multiple choice. I put there some essay questions, but it's getting difficult because I'm having in consideration those students also they don't have good internet or the Wi-Fi is not that strong. It's a little bit of everything. A lot of communication is happening. I'm really grateful for that. I'm teaching close to 250 students right now.
Wow. What grade level?
Usually sophomore, junior, undergrads.
Gotcha. Well, Professor, nice to have you weigh in. Thank you. Very nice to meet you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Have a good night. Harrisonburg, Virginia. I never heard of Harrisonburg, Virginia. We should have asked him what university he works at. I didn't think to ask.
What? How are you?
I am okay. How are you?
Good. Thank you. Thank you for
What is-
having me.
You're welcome. What is your name?
My name is Glory. I spoke to you a couple of days ago.
Oh, I can't see you. I don't. Can you come into the light?
Sure. Hold on one second. All right. I'm
So
here.
do you have an update for us?
Well, I didn't get to tell you what I do for a living or my norm because I was so excited to speak to you.
Oh, okay. So now that we got that out the way, let's talk about
Exactly. I was like, let me try this again and see if we can do this.
Tell me about your new normal.
Well, now I'm working from home. I'm in the medical field.
Okay.
I work for family practice.
Okay.
Now I'm working from home 3 days out of the week.
Okay.
And then 2 days I go to the office, family practice. I work for the LGBT community.
Okay.
And we're just trying to adapt to what we're going through right now.
Where are you in the world?
I'm in Orlando.
Okay, so why are you having to go in at all? Why not just do it remotely?
I don't know. I'm doing some at home and some stuff I have to do at the office. It's just some things that you have to do at the office as far as, faxing. My home is not prepared for that. So it's kind of hard when you don't have your home prepared, with a fax machine and, a printer and all that stuff.
But
couldn't
you just email that stuff?
You can, but sometimes it doesn't go. I mean, you can and then you can't because of the HIPAA.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard.
Because like here in New York City, they shut down doctor's offices. It doesn't matter what they need to do at the doctor's office. Like no doctor's working.
I think that's going to happen here in Orlando because it's really bad.
Ain't no doctors working.
So I don't know. I'm not sure what's going to happen as far as, us staying open or what we're going to do. Yeah. I'm not sure. So I'm just got to have a job. It's kind of hard.
I hear you.
So it's very hard.
So your practice specializes in LGBT stuff or caters to that?
Yes, we do. We specialize in that. I work for a gay doctor. He's Puerto Rican. Awesome doctor in Orlando.
Awesome.
And we cater to everybody. We cater to everybody. So it doesn't matter what, But he's a gay doctor, and we just cater to it. Transgenders. We cater to everybody. Elderly people. Hispanics. I mean, you name it, we just do everything there.
Well, that's wonderful. Well,
So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool because, we extend our care to anybody, no matter who you are. We don't discriminate. We don't,
I love that.
which is awesome. It's an awesome, I've been there 11 years and I've seen a whole world, a whole different world. And it's amazing. It really is. It really is amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's funny how life exposes you to things that you otherwise would have never had the opportunity to know somebody like that.
Absolutely. I've met the most amazing people in my life in the past 11 years that I've been there.
Well,
and it's amazing. He's an amazing doctor, period.
That's great. Well, thank you for joining us again.
Thank you for having me. Like I said before, you're amazing. And thank you for everything you've done for Puerto Rico and for all parts of the world.
Thank you. Thank you.
You really are a great person.
I thank you.
I wish we had more people like you in the world.
Well, that's very nice of you. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you so much. You
Have a
too.
good night. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Hello, David.
Well, hi.
Hi, sorry it's a little dark. I'm on my way home.
You're not driving, are you?
No, I'm with my uncle. He's driving.
Okay. Hello.
No
What is your
worries.
name?
Alondra.
Alondra. And where are you in the world?
I'm in Springfield, Massachusetts.
Okay. And what is your new normal?
Well, right now, it looks like I do not have a normal. I don't have a curfew. The only thing is, only the essentials are open right now. Like, grocery stores, liquor stores, pharmacies, all the essential stuff is open right now.
Yeah.
We don't have a curfew right now, which is scary. I work at Walmart in Chicopee, Massachusetts, so I have to go to work. I'm an essential worker, and it's scary. It's very
Tell
scary
me, do you
because
wear
I
a
have.
mask and gloves?
I wear gloves, but they do not give us masks because there's a shortage. Like every time I try to look for some, there is none. So it's, like I said, it's very, very scary.
Can you turn on a light in the car so we can see you?
Yeah, give me 1 second. Right there. Hello. Sorry about that.
That's okay. So, all right. So then what steps are you taking to protect yourself? Is there any kind of mask that you can make, or I don't know, some people have been making their own mask and the CDC's been recommended if you had to make, I mean, what can you do? Because you're exposed to people.
Yeah, I am. Basically, I can't do anything at the moment because, it's like I said, there's a shortage of almost everything, hand sanitizer, all that. So I'm basically screwed. Basically screwed right now. All I can wear is gloves. I'm sorry. I know it's dark. I'm getting into my house right now. But yeah, it's scary because I have a diabetic mother and my grandma is elderly. Oh, okay, I'm here.
Okay.
Hello?
Okay.
Oh, here, I'm home.
I hear you. I hear you.
I'm so sorry about that, David.
That's okay. So is there anything else you wanted us to know?
Yeah, I just want everyone to stay home, please. Today at Walmart, literally, it was packed. Hardly anybody is respecting the 6 feet rule. I have to keep telling everybody to stand back when I'm helping people. I work in self-checkout, so I have to keep telling people to just stand back because people aren't respecting that. And I just want people to please stay home. And if you have to go, if you're an essential worker like I am, just please try to stay, 6 feet away or more if you can.
I love it. Good advice. Welcome home. Have a good night.
Thank you. You too, David. Thank you so much for letting me in your life.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Mm-mm. Hello? What is going on? Y'all crack me up with the comments. Y'all crack me up with the comments. Y'all crack me up. I don't know what is going on. I've tried to bring in 2 people now, and now the button ain't working. All right, so here's what we're going to have to do. Instagram turns into a hot mess right about this time. I think the universe is trying to tell me stop doing more than an hour, because when you try to do more than an hour, you get yourself into trouble. So write in the comments below if you want me to bring you in, and I will bring you in. The internet is, yeah, I think the problem is there's a lot of people on here. I'm not the only one trying to do an Instagram live, and so it's working. Sucking up bandwidth, man. Sucking up bandwidth. I don't know what it is. I think it's a signal issue.
Hi, David.
Hi, what is your name?
I'm Dolly.
Dolly, where are you in the world?
I'm in Long Island, New York.
Okay, so tell me your new normal. You have a great internet signal.
Well, I'm from Long Island. That's what we do.
What do you mean that's what you do?
We have great internet here. We have great Wi-Fi.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, so there you go.
Okay.
Tell me about your new normal.
Okay, so basically what everyone's going through stuff right now. I am a caregiver of my 69-year-old mentally challenged brother. So I'm the 11th child, and he lives with me since my mother passed away. And since the 16th, they closed down his adult daycare program, which means that I can't work because he needs someone to stay with him. So, I'm trying to gather information as to what my options are, because being that this is going to be obviously extended for a period of time, I'm listening to other people's stories. I know there's parents that have children at home, but I don't hear really much about people that are in my situation where I have an adult person that cannot be home, and they can't go to their adult daycare programs. So I don't really know what I'm going to do. Right now I'm using my time, obviously, but that's going to run out eventually. So when that does run out, what do people do in my situation?
What kind of job do you have?
So I work at Stony Brook Hospital in Long Island. I work for the state, New York State. I work at the Health Information Department, where I work with medical records. We do the electronic medical record portion of the charts.
Let me tell you
Now,
what.
I'm also considered an essential employee, so I should be at work right now, but because of my circumstance, I'm not able to be at work. I do all, I do have time. I also have, I'm also have an immune problem with my health. I have MS. I don't know if you know what MS is, but I have MS.
Multiple sclerosis.
Correct. So I do have time, and I'm able to, use my time. But again, I'm just a little bit uncertain as to what my options are going to be once I don't have any time left, being that my brother can't go back until they open the daycare programs.
Do you have another sibling?
I do.
I know you have other siblings, but one that's available to help you.
No, everyone works. And the people that are not working, that are not essential employees, are working from home, and they cannot help me.
Okay, well, it's none of my business as to why they can't. So let's
Thank you.
Let's keep. So let's keep going. Family medical leave, FMLA. Can you do that?
Well, I put in the paperwork for that, and because the doctor's offices are only open certain times, I'm still waiting back to get my forms filled out by my brother's physician. So I'm sure she'll fill them out when they get to the office. So I'm calling them every 3 days or so, anticipating that they're going to have the forms filled out so I can pick them up.
Good. Okay. So okay. I mean, listen, you work for a good institution.
Correct.
You're a state employee. Somebody's going to work with you somewhere. I'm convinced somebody's going to work with you somewhere. I mean, listen, this is not of your doing.
Correct.
Not of your doing. So, do you think your bosses are going to help you?
Well, I work for New York State. I mean, they will help me. My bosses don't have a problem, helping me, but there's just a lot of uncertainty.
I hear you, but I think around that uncertainty corner is going to be some resolution.
Right.
I mean,
right.
That's what it sounds like. And listen, I know exactly what you're going through. I have a 60, yeah, she's 69 aunt who's mentally challenged, and my mother ran Louisiana's largest nursing agency, which took care of the mentally disabled and developmentally handicapped. I grew up all my life knowing exactly what you're going through. So I hear you, I relate to it, and he's lucky to have you, and they are just as much a priority as we are, and they should be. So I hope FMLA comes through very soon for you.
Thank you. And thank you for what you do. You're a blessing.
Thank you very much. You bring up a unique story that we hadn't heard before. We keep talking about taking care of children, but there are adults who need taken care of too. So
absolutely.
What's your brother's name?
Felipe.
Can I see him?
He's probably in his room, and I wouldn't want to bother him.
Okay. All right. Well, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, David.
Have a wonderful night.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, my aunt, her name is Connie, is the salt of the earth. Salt of the earth. But has been, lived with my grandmother until my grandparents passed away. And now my mother is her guardian. And, it's another responsibility, for sure. Okay, so comments below, and then I can bring you in. Damn button. I pushed the button. Lots of question marks there. Lots of question marks. We're in Austin. Hi, Austin. So I see what you're saying, but your account is private, so I cannot bring you in. Miami Gardens.
Hi,
Hi, what is your name?
Carmen.
Hi, Carmen. You're in Miami Gardens.
Yes, I am.
Okay, and what is your new normal?
Oh, new normal. Well, I work for a hospice company, so I work Monday through Friday from 1 to 10. Now basically they just enforced, well, the city of Miami had a curfew, but not the county. So it wasn't enforced for us, but now it is. So we have to be home by 10 p.m. Even though when I work, it doesn't, since I'm an essential employee. My new norm. I have a 3-year-old and I have an 82-year-old grandmother that lives with me. So it's hard because me going out and having to deal with, well, I mean, I work for admissions for hospice, so I don't work with patients directly. But just having to go out just to the store, when I come home, I change at the door. I come to the bathroom, I take a shower to make sure that wherever I was, I don't have anything on me. Apart from that, I'm sick. I'm diabetic. I have high blood pressure. They suspect that I have liver cirrhosis. So I really, I'm on the same level as my 82-year-old grandmother, where if I get something, it could probably be worse for me than for her. So now at least they've enforced a curfew. But at this point, I mean, I'm in Miami. We went from having 300 cases 2 days ago to 1,000 overnight. And the fact that they really haven't, I don't want to say that they haven't done much, but they haven't. They're not doing what we think that they should. And it's very scary. I'm in Miami where it's 1,000 cases. Broward is 800 cases. And I just feel like, not to be on in the political and speak about governors, I just feel like more needs to be done. More needs to be done because, like I just said, I have a 3-year-old and an 82-year-old grandmother, and my biggest concern right now is what if I come home and I bring something to them? I'm still working. They haven't been able to enforce me work, or they haven't been able to set everything up to work from home, but I'm still going out and I'm exposed to whoever I'm working with or just passing by someone.
Yeah, and your underlying conditions put you at higher risk, so you really have to look out for yourself first.
Yes.
You got to look out for yourself first,
Yes.
Because if you're protecting you, then you're protecting them when you go home. So,
of course, me having to get naked at the door and run to the bathroom to take a shower to make sure my grandmother and my daughter don't get, Lord knows what I may have.
Yeah.
That's very scary. And I just feel like something more needs to be done to go from, like I said, from 300 cases to 1,000 cases in about 48 hours. Something needs to be done. And it just seems like everybody's just sitting on it. Yeah, now there's curfews, but really, you're putting a curfew from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. What are you doing? I mean, yeah, you've closed stores, but you go to Walmart and now you have a curfew from 10 to 5. You have stores that are closed that are open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So that means that all the people, if you had 2,000 people going to a store within 24 hours, now those 2,000 people are going to go to a store within 12 hours. So everything is just full. Everybody's arguing. Everybody's fighting. Basic things that you need is harder. Yes, you're opening stores for older people, an hour earlier, but you don't have what you need for them. So really, what are we doing? Something more needs to be done. It's not enough.
I'm letting you go because you are right and you're onto it. And I'm hearing from a lot of people in Florida who wish the governor would basically lock the state down. Florida has the highest population of elderly people in the country.
Yeah.
Carmen, thank you. Please, please, please take care of yourself. I would love to randomly run into you and hear that you are healthier than you are tonight. So please take care of yourself.
Thank you. Thank you for everything that you do and listening to us. Hopefully someone will hear what we're saying, and maybe not me, maybe someone else, but unfortunately, until it doesn't knock on someone's door that is up there, I'm not going to say that they don't care, but I don't think it's going to move the way it's supposed to.
I don't know if it's that they don't care, but I don't know what they are caring about to not act quicker. Thank you, Carmen.
All right. Thank you. Have a great night.
Good night, love.
Hi.
Hi, what is your name?
My name is Leilani. I'm here in Tampa, Florida.
Okay.
I've been trying to get on for days. I'm sorry. I'm sitting in my bathroom because I'm bathing my 4-year-old.
That's okay. What's your new normal?
Well, I've been working from home now for like 3 years, so that part hasn't really changed. I do work for United Healthcare.
Okay.
So I've been dealing with a lot of different calls, I handle the Medicare side. So I've been dealing with a lot of calls of people trying to help their parents or help their, aunts or whatever that they have that's older. And it's hard sometimes because they don't, we have to still follow HIPAA, but it's hard when they can't go to the facility that their grandmother or their mother might be residing in to get any authorization. So we're trying to we're just working with what we have pretty much.
Can you give me an example? Can you give me an example of a story you heard?
So there was one where they were trying to change like an address or something. I think it was an address or something, and they weren't the daughter wasn't on the account like as an authorized person, or she was like I think just as like an authorized person to receive information but not make changes.
Right.
So we asked her, if she could send in some sort of power of attorney documents, things like that. But she lived in San Francisco, and this was like the same night that they went on lockdown. So she was like, well, I can't really make it anywhere to fax anything, or it's limited time or whatever, and then she couldn't go out to her mother because obviously everything was on lockdown. She can't go into the nursing facility. And I believe her mother had a stroke as well. So we couldn't really get her on the phone because, it impaired her ability to speak and everything. So that was really tough. But we're just handling cases like that day by day.
What do you do? So what did you do in that situation?
In that situation, that one, I was actually off for a few days. So my case got passed on. So I don't really know what happened with that one. But I did receive another case that was really similar. And we don't have anything in place. We had to let them know, well, try to make it to whatever supermarket does faxes, within that time, because we don't have anything in place yet to deal with certain things like that.
So people can't email you stuff?
When it comes to power of attorney documentation, we don't have a legal email to receive it. That's like something that I don't think that we've ever had to really deal with, because a lot of people will mail stuff or fax. But a lot of our older people, especially if it's them calling in, they don't use computers. We'll speak to them and they tell us, I don't know what an email is. I don't, so that's I think is hard when they don't have someone representing them, because they're representing themselves, but they're like 85, 86. They don't have a computer. They've never had to work with that, so.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. As we modernize and as we go to all these convenient things, we isolate a ginormous part of our population who is not apt to do what we are,
They're not. And then you try to walk them through, because there's some things that can only be verified electronically. So you try to walk them through if they do have a computer, and it's such a hard process. So there's certain things that I know that they're extending certain accounts. Like if they can't pay for their accounts, they are extending things like that so that they don't end up without insurance.
Good.
There's other things that they're
That's really important.
Especially,
so you're not dropping them from their insurance. Thank you, United Healthcare.
We're giving them, so usually if they're not paying their policies, they'll have 60 days. But we're giving them an extension of another 60 days.
Oh, so, thank you to United Healthcare. Good. So
at least they don't have to worry about not having insurance, at least during this time,
Right.
So
Right.
That, you know, that on top of my mother just went on Wednesday to get tested.
Okay.
She hasn't had many symptoms, but she's been coughing like crazy since the beginning of the month, and it just hasn't gone away. So, you know, yeah, we've been kind of like, I've been checking on her, making sure. I mean, she's young, she's in her 50s, but she has some underlying conditions. So that's been kind of tough. My father works in the VA hospital in the Bronx, and he's one of the assistant directors. And that is, my dad's a veteran, and he's in full combat mode.
Yeah.
You know, I talked to him. This is always a bad time of the year for him anyway, because he did Desert Storm. And so this is around the time that he left. So this is always like a rough time of the year anyway. But now that this is on top of it, he's like, I mean, talking to him, he's in full combat mode, and he's like, I don't know what to do. My nurses are falling down. My doctors are falling down. They're telling us to make beds. We don't have enough room. We don't have enough staff. I started sewing masks because they don't have supplies. So I'm sending masks up to New York, you know, for his staff and stuff, because I mean, at least something is better than nothing. You know,
but that's just crazy town. That's just crazy town.
Yeah.
That's crazy town. Well, thank you for getting in. The little man probably needs some bathing there.
Well, she's bathing. She's bathing.
Oh, the
herself.
little lady.
Yeah, she has soap everywhere right now. She's a
bless.
Liz, thank you for bringing me on.
Well, of course, I'm glad we could get you on.
I wanted to show you my dog here because you're always showing Paddington. So
What's the dog's name?
Her name is Negri. Yeah, she's just here, like, whatever.
Well, I'm glad we got you on, love.
Thank you. You have a good night.
You too. Good night. Good night. I'm so glad to hear that insurance company, United Healthcare, huge insurance company. So let's see, Momo 197997. Anyway, you can't come on because you have a private account. So I can't bring in oh no. Actually, I think I can. No, it says unable to join. I think your account is private, love. You're a dog groomer. I want to talk to a dog groomer. I'm trying to figure out what the heck I'm going to do with Paddington. I need some dog grooming tips. Hello.
Hello, David.
So you're a dog groomer?
Yes, sir.
I want to talk to you. What is your name?
My name is Raphael Roman.
Okay, and where are you in the world, sir?
In Lower East Side, Manhattan. I have family in Puerto Rico, Mocha.
Okay, all right. So what are your tips to those of us who have dogs and aren't sure when we're going to be able to get to the groomer?
I'm actually still grooming. I don't know if you look up my website, groomingforless.com.
You are.
I am dealing with people from a distance as far as, you know, transacting with them with the dog and, you know, with currency as well. But yeah, I'm still working, but again, from a distance.
Okay, but how does this work? Because you're not essential. So aren't people like you, like, shouldn't you stay home or?
I actually work from home.
Okay, so then people bring their dog to you?
Correct. So I have a 2-bedroom. I have a room designated just for grooming.
Okay, so like they bring the dog to you and they don't have to come in contact with you?
That's correct.
Okay, all right. So you're making it work.
Yeah, I'm making it work. I mean, I have to make it work. I have this whole week is booked. I'm pretty much a week and a half booked already. But people are still making appointments. And they understand the conditions where they have to come, and you know they're coming. You know, we work together from a distance.
Are you busier now than normal?
I'm actually very busy.
Yeah.
I'm actually very busy.
Yeah.
And you know, I have people on the waiting list as well. So yeah.
Why do you think you're busier now than when we're not?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've been blessed, David. I've been blessed. I've been doing this for 10 years. And I have a good clientele base. And I do have a referral program that helps a lot too, where customers refer other people and they get $10 off their grooming, and and that multiplies. So if they refer 6-7 people that have $70 worth, of credit for towards that grooming.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That is your new normal. You're making it work.
Yeah, my family told me about you, and you do great things. I looked at your website, looked at Instagram. I'm actually jumped on because my sister is actually in the hospital right now. She is a diabetic. She's a kidney transplant.
Yeah.
And 2 nights ago, she was she had to go to emergency because she was short of breath, and she was throwing up. And she's always going in the hospital for this situation.
Okay.
And again, because she's a diabetic.
Yeah.
Automatically, and I didn't know this. Automatically, they will anyone showing symptoms of the virus will be thrown in the corona room.
Treat them like they are.
Right. Exactly.
That's what they're doing.
I got paranoid. I called the doctor, the hospital. No one answered. I had to go the next day, which was yesterday. I was told that she was put in the corona room, where people show positive for the corona, and a few hours later, maybe I think around 10 o'clock at night, she was tested negative. But today I called, she's tested positive now.
Oh.
Yeah. So I mean, this doesn't seem right. How they would throw people, especially people like my sister who has a kidney transplant. They should. I don't think they should treat. I mean, if it was me, God forbid, if it was me, it's fine. Throw me in that corona room. You have to take that. You have to take that liability. That's fine. But people like my sister, you shouldn't throw in there. Now, I believe. I don't think anyone knows how the coronavirus works, how fast it hits the system. I don't think anyone is an expert in that. But if she was tested negative, and I have this all in recording, by the way, I did record the people that told me that she had to be put in the corona room, and I did record the doctor telling me that she tested negative last night.
Yeah.
I did not record, that they said that she was tested positive. She is in an incubator with a oxygen mask, and it has me and the whole family concerned.
I hear you. Yeah. But the hospital's the right place to be. So which hospital is she at?
Mount Sinai. I mean, but I think, people, so I don't think people know that people, if you're showing symptoms, they will put you automatically where people are tested positive.
Well, look, if people don't know that, you should know that. But you understand why they're doing that, right? Because the assumption is if you come into the hospital and you're exhibiting symptoms, they want to isolate you in the ward where people are isolated. So to bring you into another area of the hospital would expose other people to you if you are in fact positive.
I understand that completely. I think that's probably the right thing to do.
Right.
But for people like my sister, I personally don't agree with that.
What would you?
That's just my opinion.
What would you rather them do?
I think people like my sister, with kidney transplant or any kind of transplant, I think they should have a room for them separately, maybe. I don't know.
Well, 100%. I mean, but who's to say she doesn't have her own room?
Right.
She might have her own room.
No, she didn't have her own room.
Well, hopefully she does have her own room now. I mean,
she does.
Okay, so she does.
Now she does.
Okay,
as of today, she is incubated.
Okay.
Not in her room. Sorry, and she's in a room with 3 other people that have tested positive.
In another room. Okay, got it.
In another room, right.
Got it.
So I explained that wrong.
Well, listen, the reality is, Rafael, Mount Sinai was building patient pods in the lobby. I reported on it Friday on CBS this morning. They literally were setting up patient pods, and all it is a curtain around it in the patient pavilion where the food court is.
Wow.
That's how overloaded Mount Sinai is right now. So the fact that your sister has some kind of a room, look, I hear you. Somebody with her underlying conditions, yeah, she's at great risk, but you don't find that weird when she was tested negative and all of a sudden we've heard stories like that. We've heard stories where someone was tested negative, right, and then they were tested again and they were positive. Could it have been a false negative? Yes. Yeah, I've heard stories like that. Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah. So what's your sister's name?
Monica.
My best.
Monica. Yeah.
My best to Monica. And to you. Thank you for sharing her story with us.
No, thank you. And listen, bring your dog. It's free as charge anytime.
Oh, that's very kind of you. Thank you very much, sir.
No
Nice
problem.
to meet you.
Likewise.
Good night. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. What is your name?
My name is Giselle,
Okay, and where are you in the world?
Chicago.
Chicago. Okay, and you tested positive for COVID?
I did.
When did you test positive?
Thursday.
Okay, and how are you feeling?
I'm feeling a lot better now, but this has been going for 2 weeks now at this point. So I believe I'm at the later end of it all. But at the beginning, yes, there were definitely symptoms. And unfortunately, I still went into work at that point before we closed. I'm a teacher.
Okay.
So
you think you may have exposed people to you when you were sick? I mean, positive.
it could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were your symptoms, Giselle?
I had body aches. I had a slight fever for a day or two.
Yeah.
But the body aches were ongoing for a few days. A headache, coughing. I mean, I still have a slight cough, but I have no other symptoms at this point.
Were you ever hospitalized?
No, thankfully, no.
And where were you tested?
At a medical center.
And only tested once?
Mm-hmm. And I called this morning because I was informed that in order to kind of be in the clear, you have to test 3 times.
Right, right.
And the thing is, when I called this morning, they said that there's not enough tests.
Right, right. What was your temperature?
The thing is, at that point, I didn't take my temperature. I just felt a little fever coming on, but I could tell that it wasn't strong.
All right, so you're one of those that had a mild case.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's why I know that now in retrospect, I probably should have stayed home, but who would have guessed that I would have actually been positive? Like, the symptoms were very, very on with like a traditional cold or flu, you know. I didn't feel anything that I've never felt before.
Yeah.
And then I'm exposed to kids all day.
But let me ask you this, and somebody's asking, why would you go to teach with symptoms like that, even if you thought it was the flu?
So here's the thing, right? I'm a teacher. I always have kids coming in sick. So sometimes I go in with the cold, or sometimes I do go in with the cough, you know, like, and like I said, at that time, it didn't feel like anything I hadn't had before.
Right.
You know, so, and now in retrospect, of course, I probably should have gotten tested sooner, or but who would have guessed, you know?
But you're better.
Yes, I am better at this point. So I guess I just want to really, really say that, like, people really need to pay attention to this, and people really need to stay home. This is serious. Like, I would have never thought that I would have been at risk or exposed or anything, and here I am, you know? So
I hear you, and I'm glad you're feeling better. Thanks for sharing. You know, it's important for us to hear all the stories, the severe ones, the fatal ones, and the recoveries, and like yours, a mild case. So thank you.
No problem. Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome.
Keep doing the amazing work you do. I know I've sent you several messages in the past saying how you're an amazing journalist. So keep everything up.
Well, thank you, ma'am. Have a great night. I'm so glad you're feeling better.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, so we probably have time for 2 more. Yeah? 2 more? Did the students get tested? I don't know. I don't know if the students got tested. That's actually a good question. Yeah, I hear the other teachers responding and saying, you guys have to go. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Some people go to work and you don't think you have coronavirus. Paddington is, oh, there you are, buddy. He's sleeping. He was a nightmare today. He was a nightmare today. Anytime he goes out in the rain, he's a nightmare. Because he comes back and he's wet and he just doesn't settle down and he won't take a nap. And oh, Lord, I'm going to start banning him from going out on rainy days. He'll just have to run.
Hi, David.
Hi, love. What's going on?
So I don't want to take a lot of your time or everyone's time because I know everyone wants to talk to you. But I wanted to tell you that my new normal has changed drastically.
Yeah. Well.
So, and this is more, I'm sharing it so that people take it serious and people can put a face to what's happening.
Yeah.
So, my older sister tested positive for COVID-19.
Yeah.
And she has pneumonia in one lung. And she has all the symptoms, so they're treating her. And then yesterday, my 70-year-old uncle, who is a COPD patient, and has congestive heart failure, right? So he's at the high risk.
Yeah.
And he's 70, so he's at the highest kind of tier. He didn't feel well. He was feeling short of breath. I got to talk to him about 1:30 p.m. And when I called 3 hours later, we couldn't get him. We didn't get answers. Nobody picked up the phone at the hospital. We went last night in person. We couldn't get answers. We found out today that they had to intubate him. So they are treating him, assuming that he has been exposed to COVID-19.
Right.
So I wanted to tell people that when you hear Governor Cuomo saying New York needs 30,000 ventilators, and when you see him fighting, he's fighting for people like my uncle, who, thank God, there was a ventilator available. Thank God they were able to intubate him. Right. And they're treating him, you know. And I was raised to believe in God, and we believe in a healing God, and we know that the same way God lifted up Lazarus, and the same way God lifted up Heido's daughter, and the same way God gave the sight, returned the sight to a blind man, I believe and I declare that he's going to lift my uncle. He's going to heal my uncle. But it's scary, David. It is a nightmare of unfathomable proportions. And I've been following it since China, like I told you. And I've been, like crazy person calling all the family. Make sure you have everything. Don't go outside, And to have it hit my family has been devastating. My mom, is a mess. I can't even tell you, we're a big Puerto Rican family, but we're all very close. And it's killing us that we can't be there with him, that we cannot tell him, how much we love him and to fight, I think that part, it just kills. So I just wanted to tell you and share this really with everyone that I know follows you, because I want people to take it serious. I want people to know that there's families like mine right now, today, suffering. And I cannot put it into words. There are no. My uncle's name is Juan.
Juan. And what about your sister? How's she doing?
So within her situation, she's semi-stable except for this pneumonia that's in one lung.
Yeah.
So they are treating that. So she's not, thank God, like intubated or anything like that. So, that's been a little bit more stable. So we're taking it one day at a time.
But she is hospitalized.
Yes. So, so we're running around across everything. I put gloves and a mask and everything and went to beg for information, even though I know the process and I know, but, it's just something that you have to do. So what I do want to share is I had something that was bothering me since this morning, all day, like make a sign, tell the doctors that your uncle's not alone, tell the doctors that the family's grateful. And I made a sign and just saying like who he is and that we love him and that we're praying for the doctors and nurses, and we thank them and begging them to leave no stone unturned to do everything for him that they can. And I went and I begged the security guard to take it to the ER. Long story made short, they allowed me to talk to someone, and this guy whose name was Rafael, he like the Archangel Raphael.
Yes.
He actually was so moved by the sign that he actually got the doctor. And the doctor came out, and I was able to give it to him in person and thank him and beg him and say, you know what, I don't want to take a lot of your time, but I had this in my heart, and I don't know, I just feel like God wanted me to bring this here, because you need to know that my uncle's not alone. Yeah. You know, that there's a whole family. I mean, we will fill up an emergency room in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And he was so moved. He was so grateful. And he said, you know, I promise you, we're going to do everything we can. And it was so surreal to see this doctor with that mask, you know, the shield.
Yeah.
And the everything. And it was just like, I was like, what am I living? Like, I even have a mask and gloves. It was just so surreal. But, you know, God used this guy, Raphael, who was so moved that he was like, stay right here. And I'm thinking someone's coming to grab the sign. And he actually got the doctor to come out.
I love
and
that.
My uncle's daughter's in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So he actually got to talk to my cousin who's in Pennsylvania, his daughter, and give her all the lowdown and everything.
Oh, good. That's very good too. People are asking where you are. She's in New York City, by the way.
In New York. I can't hear you too well now, David, but I don't know if you can hear me.
We hear you. We hear you. We hear
okay.
you. Yeah.
So anyway, I'm in New York. I will tell you, I am so grateful, and I never thought I was.
You have 2 minutes left before it cuts off.
Okay. I never thought I would say this. But I am so grateful, even though I complain about Cuomo and the MTA. I'm so grateful to Governor Cuomo. I'm so grateful to the position and the leadership that he's shown. And, you know, it's not about politics. It's about saving lives, just like it was in Puerto Rico. It's in New York. And, you know, it's hard, you know, because we lived what we lived, seeing what was going on with Puerto Rico. We're living what we're living now. And it's hard when you hear it from a doctor saying, we don't have enough. We don't have enough. I heard that from the doctor, you know, so they need PPE, you know, they need, and we need to continue to put pressure on Congress. We need to continue to put pressure on Trump, because this is real. And what's happening right now in New York is going to propagate throughout the United States. You know, they're going to continue to be states that are going to continue to go through this stuff. I hate to say it, but that's, if you look at the science and the data and listen to the experts, doctors, scientists, right? What is it, Fauci, who's amazing, right? People who know, not who think, who know. You will realize how serious this is, that there's people like my family going through it, and that unfortunately, this is, you know, it's New York today. It's going to be another state tomorrow. Yeah. So anyway, I know they're going to cut me off, but please, if I could ask each and every one of you, pray for my family. Pray for my uncle and my sister, and I'm praying for everyone too.
What's your sister?
Huh?
What's your sister?
Maria.
Okay.
Maria.
So we pray for Juan, we pray for Maria, and we thank
traditional Puerto Rican names.
And we thank you.
Thank you. Love you. Love you guys. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Okay, everybody, and that's a wrap. So thank you all for joining. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for listening. We'll do it again tomorrow night.